In this video, you see how you can have separate development and production endpoints for the same API. In the example, one management service is already configured in the Cloud Manager user interface. One Data Power service has been defined as a development gateway. A second Data Power service is defined with the supported application type of production. The application type is selected when the service is initially configured. Each Data Power service has a server that has been configured, and these servers are active. Now take a look at the API Manager user interface. You review how to configure a catalog to support multiple Data Power Gateway services. In the example, you see how two gateway services are configured for the Sandbox catalog. Open the Sandbox catalog by selecting it from the API Manager dashboard. Then select the Settings option. On the Overview page, you see that the Sandbox catalog has Development Mode set to Enabled. Development catalogs are used primarily for creating and testing APIs. When the Gateways option is selected, notice that the two Data Power services have been configured to match the two services that were configured in Cloud Manager. Each Data Power service has a unique endpoint. By specifying the gateway service endpoints and configuring your domain name service appropriately, you can send API calls to the required gateway service. In this case, the API calls are controlled by application type. Calls from development applications are made to a different gateway service from production applications. From the portal option of the Sandbox catalog settings, the Development Application Workflow option is set to Enabled. When this option is enabled, all applications that are registered in the developer portal are given development status. API calls made from applications with development status are routed to the endpoint of the development gateway. When application testing is completed, a developer can request to upgrade the application to production status. Now let's review how API calls are controlled by application type in the developer portal. Sign on to the developer portal to view the applications that are defined. One application has been defined. When the application is opened, notice that the application is matched to the Development Gateway service. The application is also subscribed to the Smart Product version 1.0.1 and the Silver plan. Test the API by opening the product, then open the APIs that belong to the product. The list of operations is displayed in the left column. Notice that there are two endpoints in the developer portal that were defined earlier in API Manager. The development endpoint is associated with the URL https://dp.think.ibm/sales/sb. The production endpoint is associated with the URL that points to the production gateway endpoint. Now select an operation to test in the developer portal, for example, get products. The example request is displayed. Notice that the GET request has a target URL that includes the development endpoint dp.think.ibm in this case. There is an option to try this operation. When the call operation button is clicked, the portal runs the associated curl command to call the operation. A 200 OK successful call response is displayed. The developer has now tested the API in the developer portal. Now the developer is ready to test the API against the production gateway endpoint. With the application opened in the developer portal, click the button to upgrade to production. Confirm the permission to use the production endpoint. You see a message that an application update has been requested, and you also see a button that displays the text Pending Upgrade. The upgrade must be approved by a product manager or an organization owner in the API Manager user interface. Now in the API Manager user interface for the Sandbox catalog, click the Approvals tab. The requested upgrade approval is displayed in the list. Click the appropriate action to approve the request. Then select Approve. There are no longer any approvals in the list. The developer portal is refreshed to show that the application is now matched to the production application type. By clicking the View Details in the Subscriptions area for the application, you open the product and its APIs. Now, when the API operations are displayed, you see that the test operations point to the production gateway endpoint. Test the API operation as before, only this time you are testing the API by calling it on the production gateway. Open the Get Products operation, locate the sample. Notice that you are now testing against the production application type that is configured to use the gateway with the host name dp2.think.ibm in this example. Click the call operation. The operation calls the API on the production gateway and returns the result. This concludes the video that shows how you can have separate development and production endpoints for the same API in IBM API Connect.